Tupac's father, Billy Garland, writes a scathing letter to all involved regarding his son's death. Keefe D, the Nevada State Police, the FBI, Suge Knight. Yeah, you want to read this. Let's get into some of this straight game.
Life is like cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy Delray Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, notification. Also subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that what appears to be a little bell notification right below this video. I'm gonna get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Tupac's father, Billy Garland, writes a scathing letter to what I would consider the key players surrounding the Tupac situation, if you will. And that includes the state's attorney, the Nevada Police Department, the LAPD, the FBI, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to read it to you right now. I think this is very important because, like I said before, I believe that Tupac's father, in saying that the government was watching Tupac on the night that he was shot on September 7th, 1996, government agents and so on and so forth were watching Tupac that night, I believe is one of the things that propelled the Las Vegas PD to do the raid, not only do the raid, but also come with a grand jury indictment of Keefe D. I'm going to read it to you right now, and it goes like this. This is Tupac's father speaking, Billy Garland. Keefe D was a government informant, took a sweet deal to spread the Orlando Anderson lie to save his ass. But his comments and continued misinformation on YouTube later that Orlando was somewhere else at the time, and his other statements have angered the state of Nevada, which does not have a deal with Keefe D. Now unfounded gossip that Puffy had a hand in Pac's assassination is just more red meat to cloud the water. These YouTube leeches will continue to attach themselves to Pac in any shape or form as long as they can and for whatever reason they can. Let's be totally honest. Most law enforcement can't solve a crime in 48 hours. But we are to believe your attempt to now solve it 27 years later. Really? Las Vegas Police, Nevada State's Attorney, the FBI, the Los Angeles Police Department didn't want to investigate it in '96. So why in the hell are they pretending to be doing it in 2023? I tell you, it muddies the truth and sells big time. How many have watched the mainstream media when the story broke? How many articles written? How many text messages sent? How many Facebook and Instagrams posted? Pac shit sells. Only when the true purpose and the true reasons will justice prevail in America, and that ain't happening. So to believe Keefe D, you might as well believe lying ass Reggie Wright Jr., the head of Death Row Security, conniving criminal Suge Knight, and triple crosser David Kenner, all of which were attempting to benefit the most from Tupac's demise. Rest, son. Fuck these imposters. Such bullshit. That's a powerful statement. What I'll say about that is, and I respect Mr. Garland's, his words and how he feels. Like I said, everybody has their feelings. Tupac was his son. And so, to have your son taken away from you, you got to be constantly reminded that, your son was not only your son, but he was one of the most revered and popular entertainment figures in the world, and still remains to be that today, even after his death. So I understand where Mr. Garland is coming from. Like I said, I did the interview with him on the Art of Dialogue, and it was very interesting. And I appreciate him even wanting to sit down, because he really didn't want to sit down with anybody else, and he hasn't done so since then. And like I said, I respect him for that. Yeah, tell me what you guys think about this, man. Like I said, he has his point of view, and like I said, once again, his point of view is relevant, whether you believe it or not, or whether you're in favor of it or not. Like he said, he said basically, so to believe Keefe D, you might as well believe lying Reggie Wright Jr., head of Death Row Security, conniving criminal Suge Knight, and triple crosser David Kenner. Powerful words, powerful words. And most people feel that way, because that was the question that most people asked, when they, arrested Keefe D, and then when they also raided his house at that particular time. People were like, well, why now? Why 27 years later? I think I can answer that question. Back a few years back, when Keefe D did the proffer agreement, it was with the U.S. attorney. It wasn't with the state of Nevada, right? And so there was a slippery slope that, or should a set of guidelines that the state's attorney in Nevada needed to follow. I believe they had to go back and talk to the United States attorney. The Nevada state's attorney had to go talk to the United States attorney to make sure that they weren't in violation of the proffer agreement that was done with the U.S. attorney. And the thing that made that so was the information and the conversation that Keefe D had with various YouTube channels, basically going against the proffer agreement and saying things that he shouldn't have said, basically incriminating himself. That's the difference. I know a lot of people say, well, you just couldn't, in the court of law, when you're trying to charge somebody, you just couldn't go and charge him, and he had to deal with the government. And that was one of the things that I had asked Tupac's father when I interviewed him. How did he feel about that? And when he spoke on that, that actually went viral, like I said before, through TMZ, and a bunch of other outlets had picked that up. And so I understand where Mr. Garland's coming from, but that's the reason why they didn't do anything then, and they really couldn't do anything. Their hands basically were tied legally from that perspective. But now that Keefe D had spoke out and did so many interviews, they now, like I said, they took those interviews, namely the Art of Dialogues, from what I know for a fact, and they put those interviews in front of a grand jury. And like I said, the state's attorney had to go to talk to the U.S. attorney to make sure that they were doing the right thing, because they didn't want to jeopardize their case in bringing charges against Keefe D, and somehow, some way, the proffer agreement would make it impossible for them to get a conviction, because they would be kind of skirting outside the lines of the law, if you will, and even on appeal or anything like that. So that's basically what took so long. A lot of people might not understand that, but if you understand what I just said, that was the reason why it took so long. So from that perspective, like I said, and that's the craziest part about it, because Keefe D basically gave the law enforcement the key and the handcuffs, and to be able to put him in a jail cell right now with no bail. So this letter, tell me what you guys think, man. I think it's very interesting. And it makes for great conversation from that perspective. Like I said, this is Tupac's father and Billy Garland Sr. And like I said, once again, tell me what you guys think about that. Your boy Delray, straight gang.